Good morning. Culture. Peter Drucker says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what he means by that is that you can have the best strategy in the world, but if the culture that you have does not support that strategy, all is lost. So let's talk a little bit about culture. What is it? Well, culture is basically saying that people like us do things like this. And you have to describe in as much detail as possible what this is. Now, human nature is such that it's really difficult, especially in an employer-employee relationship, to get people to do things like this if that's not in their nature. And that's why hiring is so important when it comes to developing a culture. But let's start off with core values that we discussed previously. The core values that you have, to a large extent, will actually determine the culture that you have. So if a core value is truth, honesty, then you don't necessarily have to worry. And if that core value is the same amongst everyone in the office, then you don't have to worry about people not doing things honestly. So, what are your core values? And do you hire for core values? Do you hire for attitude and aptitude as opposed to skill and experience? Because that's how most people hire. Skill and experience. You can tell that by reading the help wanted ads that are posted. Minimum 2 years experience, right off the bat. Experience taking x-rays, experience scanning, experience whatever it is that practice wants is listed as the necessities for the position. Is that true? What about the attitude? What about the aptitude? The ability to learn new things. One of the things that we should have all learned from this COVID experience is that we might have to pivot. What was true before may not be true anymore. And Jim Collins in Good to Great basically says the same thing. The ability to maneuver. The great companies oftentimes didn't start out with the same product that they now have. Look at Apple. It was a computer company. It's really not a computer company anymore. They didn't have a telephone. They didn't have iTunes. They didn't have Apple TV. They had Apple IIc and eventually Macintosh. And that only represents somewhere around 10% of their current business. So what do we know? We know that really great lasting businesses learn how to move and adapt and pivot. You're going to have to do that. There's no question. Do you have a team? Do you have a culture that will allow that to happen? And it all starts with hiring the right people. As Jim Collins in Good to Great says, first, people. Get the right people on the bus. You have no idea where that bus is destined for. But getting the right people on the bus will enable that bus to get wherever it wants to go. We'll talk more about that. Have a great day.